There's a story how we become dhakir. A poem by Rumi. In this poem he describes a story. The ruler, the emperor who was based in Constantinople, on his one side the Greeks were saying we are better in philosophy, in painting, in the arts. On the other side the Chinese said we are better. He said let's have a competition. My empire should have a competition. Gather the Greeks from this side. Gather the Chinese from this side. Let's have one arena, huge, a blank sheet on this side, wall, a blank wall on this side, a blank wall on this side. Chinese, you come with your tools. Paint me the most beautiful picture you can paint. And put a curtain in the middle so they can't see what each other are doing. Curtain in the middle. Greeks, you come with your tools on this side. And, prepare for the most wonderful and beautiful image you can create. We see who is better in the arts now. Chinese came with their tools, the curtain in the middle, they took their time, painting with the most magnificent colors. Paint after paint, image after image, they aligned the wall beautifully. The Greeks came with polishing tools. They made that rugged surface of the wall flat completely. It became like glass or smoother than glass. After they had finished, they wanted to see who's better. The ruler said, now take the curtain down. The Chinese saw their image was beautiful, but it had its errors. The wall was jagged, but the image itself was beautiful. They saw the Greeks. Their wall was a mirror. The mirror reflected the painting in a more beautiful fashion than the image itself, because it didn't have any jagged nooks or crooks. The Greeks became better in this way by polishing themselves the way we have to polish our hearts to reflect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and become dhikrullah. After we become dhakir, after we become dhikr, we have to become madhkur. And this is the easy part. Once being dhakir is difficult. Being dhakir to that extent that one becomes dhikr is difficult. But the last stage is fulfilled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As He says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 152, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. You remember me, you become my dhakir, I will remember you. The person was dhakir, he became dhikr, and due to his remembrance, Allah remembered him, Allah paid him special attention, he became madhkur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He became the one remembered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He completed the cycle fully, dhakir and dhikr and madhkur. And Allah will remember us, as He promises in the Holy Quran, like this. That is why Imam Sadiq alayhi salam expresses, become or have the remembrance of Allah, so Allah shall remember you. اجعل ذكر الله من أجل ذكره لك. Make dhikr of Allah so that He will remember you. And remember, our remembrance of Allah is nothing. His remembrance of us is something special. فَإِنَّهُ ذِكْرَكَ ذَكَرَكَ وَهُوَ غَنِيٌّ عَنْكَ. For He remembers you, He pays attention to you, and He is needless of you. Whilst you need Him, He doesn't need you. فَذِكْرُهُ لَكَ أَجَلْ وَأَشْهَى وَأَتَمْ مِنْ ذِكْرِكَ لَهُ. So His remembrance of you is better, is more perfect, is more desirable, is more complete than you could ever remember Him. And this dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything in this life, in obedience to Allah, salat, som, zakat, khums, everything, hajj, dhikrullah, everything is just so that we can get closer to Allah, only for this, even dhikrullah, which is why we have the narration from Imam Al-Baqir alayhi salam about Nabi Musa alayhi salam, أن موسى سأل ربه فقال. Musa alayhi salam asked his Lord, Allah, asked him, Ya Rab, أقريب أنت مني فأناجيك. Are you close to me so that I'll whisper to you? أم بعيدا فأناديك. Or are you far away so that I'll call out to you loudly? What's your distance to me? Allah replies to him, فَأَوْحَى اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ إِلَيْهِ يَا مُوسَى أَنَا جَلِيسُ مَنْ ذَكَرَنِي. I am the sitting companion for the one who remembers me. Not only jalis, jalis, the one who sits very close to you. Allah is like that for the one who remembers Him. And therefore we see the real lovers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These real lovers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remember Him always, are inclined with His love always, such that the sun wouldn't rise nor would it set, except that their breath is infused with His love, such that they would never drink a cup of water out of thirst unless they saw an image from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their love of Him is such that they would never sit amongst the people and talk to them until their talk, and unless their talk is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for this reason, because of them being crazy in love, if you like, because of this reason, people blame them. Oh, he's crazy or she's crazy. These people don't care. They say, stupid people may blame us, but Allah, you are my deen. So let the people's deen be their deen, and my deen, you are my deen. والله ما طلعت شمس وما غربت إلا وحبك مقرون بأنفاسي ومهممت بشرب الماء من عطش إلا رأيت خيالا منك بالكاس وما جلست إلى قوم أحدثهم إلا وأنت حديثي بين جلاسي فيلومني السفه لأنك أنت ديني فديني لنفسي ودين الناس للناس ما لي وما للناس ما وجد من فقدك وما فقد من وجدك. These people don't care about anything but Allah. People may blame them, people may be against them, people may be with them. They are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to recap the points we've covered in today's discourse, we have two enemies and we need to realize the differences between them. One is our nafs al-ammara, the other one is shaitan. And the remembrance of Allah and dhikrullah will shield us from them both and protect us from them both. Secondly, in contrast, heedlessness of Allah and His negligence leaves us exposed to both of these enemies, exposed to attack from both of them. And the remembrance of Allah is like the remembrance of two lovers who can't stop thinking about one another. We should be infatuated with Him. We should see Him. Everywhere we look, we should be reminded of Him. And number 4, for those who love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their hearts are only made tranquil with His remembrance and nothing else. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded us to remember Allah and prefer nothing over the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remembrance of Allah wasn't only a shield, wasn't only itmi'nan al-qalb. It was an honor, a sharaf for those who remember Allah and really love Him. Complete remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires us to complete that circle.